Hi guys, so I'm about to start doing my crochet braids, and before I get started I want to show you what you will need or what I use when I am doing crochet bottles. When I'm doing crochet braids, you're gonna need a wide tooth comb to comb through it, make sure it's nice and detangled, and you're gonna need a rat tail comb or a sectioning comb to make your parts nice and even. Products that I use, I like to use the Beautiful Textures Moisture Butter Whipped Curl Cream. Not very much at all. I'm almost out of this, though whatever's left in here I will just apply lightly over my entire head just for a little bit of moisture. And then I use coconut oil as I braid because this is a really good oil for my hair and it will make sure that my hair stays moisturized. And then you're also going to need a pair of scissors to cut the hair in half. I just used regular scissors. And your obvious tool that you're going to need is a crochet needle or a latch hook. You can get these at your beauty supply store. I have like 3 of these things. It's really important to have backups because sometimes if you've used them for a long time, this part can kind of loosen up and it gets annoying. Yeah, so that. And last but not least, you're going to need whatever hair you're using. For this style, I'm using the Bobbi Boss hair. I'm not sure what kind of braid pattern it is. It doesn't say at all. Not braid pattern. I don't know what kind of curl pattern it is. It doesn't say. It was $4.99 a pack and it's in the color F430. So it's like a brown blonde kind of mix. And yeah, so I have 2 bags and a little bit left over in one of the bags from a previous style I have done. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this hair up. And yeah, that's all that I'm using for this install. So as you know, I am doing some crochet braids right now. And what I've done off camera is start sectioning off my hair. So I have one section in the back. And then I split the section in the front into 2. And that is because I braid the front of my head and then I combine 2 braids into one in the back. And I will show you guys that process when we get to it. Now this style or this braid pattern isn't going to be for if you want multiple parts, if you want to do all sorts of stuff. I've done crochet braids many times and I've had all those different options, and there's always like 2 that I always stick to, which is the center part or the side part. And even if I don't section my hair in a side part, because this hair is so big and just, you know, so easy to like really hide your parts, if I do want a side part, I don't need to create one in my braid pattern. I can just pull the hair that way. So I'm making my main part a center part. So I'm just sectioning off my hair with the rat tail part of the comb just to get like a nice little base. But if that's not working for you, you know, you can use the other side. Just don't pull all the way through with it. I use my fingers to do the pulling through. I just use the comb part to get the part itself. Now these parts don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be neat because they're getting covered up. I'm going to add the tiniest amount of products specifically to my ends and a little bit to these sections. As you can see, this is all different lengths. I had a sew in for a little bit and it completely broke off like this section because I left it out and was applying heat regularly to it. I'm going to divide off my little section here and split it into 3 and start braiding back. This is not a cornrow tutorial video. There's plenty on YouTube if you don't know how to cornrow. I left a little bit of it out because it's going to go into another braid and it doesn't matter, and it's kind of hard for me to braid that part. So I'm just going to finish the top of my head and I will be back once I get to the back. So I'm done with the front and I have 12 braids across the front. So what that means is when I work on my back, I will end up with 6 braids because I'm going to combine 2 of the ones in the front. Let me raise this up a bit. 2 of these in the front to 1 in the back. And for this section, because it's not really necessary to have completely even parts, and it doesn't bother me too much if it's like a hot mess back there, I just separate it with my fingers because, like I said, nobody's gonna see it. Nobody. Then you pull it apart. And I braid straight back. This works fine if you're using really curly hair. But if you're using a silkier pattern, you may want to do it like kind of like a zigzag, kind of go down and up and around and down and up and around, because that'll make sure that the hair falls down this way and the hair will cover each braid. If the hair is really thick, it frays out and covers the braids across, like kind of like this. It fans out this way so everything's covered. Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do is get your section off, and I'm pretty sure it's not even back there, but you know, it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to go ahead and comb it out. Adding a little bit of my Shea Moisture, what's it called again? Moisture butter to my ends. And then a little bit of coconut oil to seal in all that moisture. Then I'm going to start braiding it. So I divide off a section like you normally would for the front of a cornrow, like this. And I combine these two braids to that section, if you guys can see, to that section. And then what I'll do is I'll take some of the hair from that section with the braids, so there's those. And then I'll divide another section with the braid. So there's your two again, and then you have one in the back that doesn't have a braid at all. So each of those two sections that have a braid are going to combine together into one, and then you have your 3 strands to start your cornrow. Now this section, for this beginning of it, you want to make sure it's really secure. And then you can go back and start grabbing hair. You want to make sure that your ends are really moisturized, so I'm getting some more of the moisture butter. And then I'm just going to do the same thing all across the back of my head. Okay, so now I am done with doing my braids in the back. I sectioned off my hair kind of badly in the back, so I didn't end up with 6 braids. I ended up with 5 braids in the back instead. So what happened was I tried to make this 2 separate braids, but it just wasn't enough hair back here to make it 2 separate braids, so I combined these 4 braids into just one big braid. So the question is now, what do I do with the ends of my braids? Some people sew them, some people use a bobby pin, and some people use like a rubber band. I use a bobby pin, and I use the hair to secure, like I do a cornrow and then I secure it with the bobby pin. And as I'm doing my crochet braids, I will secure that braid with my crochet. So the braids at the base, so the crochet braids at the base of my head are usually generally a little bit tighter and really close together, so that it kind of bonds it as if I did sew it together almost. And then I'll slip the bobby pin out if it's tight enough. If not, I'll keep it in. It doesn't irritate me. Only reason I don't sew is because I'm not 100% confident of sewing my own hair together. So all I'm going to do is braid it to the side. I'm going to start on the back of my head, and I'll come back when I'm at the front so I can show you guys how I crochet it. Because it's going to be really hard for me to film doing the crochets in the back. So yeah, I will see you when I'm pretty much halfway done with my head. Alright guys, so I have been at this since 10 o'clock and it's 12:02, and I just finished the back of my head. It took a pack and a half. So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys the back of my hair and how full it is and how well it covers. I'm going to put my latch hook in. So I put the hair onto the hook, I close the latch, I pull it through, and I do what I call the rubber band method, which is you tie it around the hair 3 times like a rubber band. Sometimes I do it 4 times if I forget. Then you pull it tight. You see that, guys? I don't know if you can see. And you pull it tight. And with curly hair, that's all you have to do. Like, you're done with curlier hairstyles. If your hair is looser or more of a wave, you're going to take off a little section and you're going to wrap it around and tie it through once. If your hair is really loose of a curl, you're going to do the rubber band method with the 3. You're going to do this knot that I just did, and then you're going to do another knot. But when you do the second knot, you're going to put your hair through 1 time and then 2 times. And I usually never do the twice method because I don't like looser hair. So again, I'm just going to take the other half from the hair I just split. Make a little loop like this. Going to put it on the hook. Gonna close it, take the latch hook off, and then you're going to go 1 twist, 2 twist, 3, and then pull it tight just like you were doing a rubber band. And for extra security, take a little section off like that and tie a knot. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do this until all of this is complete, and I'll do a little bit more on camera, but I'll fast forward through it.
So sentimental, not sentimental, no romantic, not disgusting yet. Darling, I'm down and lonely, when with a fortunate only. I've been looking for something else to let, juggle it, let's go slowly, discouraged, distant from other interests, on your favorite weekend, and in this love for gentlemen only, that's with a fortunate only. No, I gotta be someone else, these days it comes and goes. A list of many, think less but see it grow, like a ride, oh, not easily offended, not let it go.
Alright guys, so it is 1:48. I finished at 1:44, but I had to set up the camera and everything. I love it. It's super full, as you guys can see. Using 2.5 packs of hair. And again, this is Bobbi Boss hair, and it's just called Premium Fiber Braid. There wasn't anything on there to indicate what kind of braid it was. I think that's because my mom took out like the backing and the packages because she sends them to me through the mail. So if I find out the braid pattern of this hair, I will put it in the description box below. And even though I didn't really do a side part, I'm going to show you guys why. With hair this big, you don't really need to plan parts. You just do a straight back, each section, and look, you just split it over side part. If you want a deep side part, obviously my hair is trained this way because that's how I installed it, but you know, if you pull on it and flatten it down, then there you go. You have a deep side part. And for me, I can't really pull it up in a ponytail, but I'm not really too concerned about that. Anyways, I'm going to sleep. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
So sentimental, not sentimental, no romantic, not disgusting.